Hello everyone, Quizzier here, and today I'm going to be doing Happy Hearts quiz on Outlast Trials. Now, I'm not good at quizzes, okay? If there's some simple, easy questions, I might be able to get them, but even though I did start when the game first originally launched, I did take a large break after I got to max level due to toxic shock, believe it or not. So I'm not expecting the greatest of results, so if you want to do this test for yourself first, I'm going to have the link top of the description straight to Happy Hearts quiz. And yeah, let's jump into it, shall we?
20 questions, 4 difficulties. We're going to move from easiest to hardest in a test of your Outlast Trials knowledge regarding the lore, gameplay, history, terminology, all of it. There will be the occasional reference to the original games, Outlast 1, 2, and Whistleblower, so
I'm not up to lore, by the way. I don't know anything about the lore. Oh god, this is going to be fun.
Your knowledge of these games may also be helpful. When you get the right answer to a question, you're going to give yourself 3 points. There will be a fun fact accompanying each question, and if you get this correct, give yourself 1 additional point.
How is this going to work? Is this going to be like a multiple choice questions, and then if I somehow get another multiple choice question, I get an extra point, or do I have to just... Okay, we'll find out.
These fun facts will generally have open-ended answers, so as long as you get the gist of it correct, you can give yourself that point. By the way, there will be a timer for each question that counts down until the answer is revealed, but by no...
Well, I'm making a video on this, so I'm just gonna pause, okay? I'll try to be quick, I guess.
means you have to come up with the answer in that amount of time. Feel free to pause the video during every question and think long and hard for as long as you need. Of course, try to work with your own current level of knowledge rather than going to the Outlast wiki for your answers or whatnot. Okay, keep track of your score and let's see what happens. Question 1, what is the name of the effect when you run out of sanity?
Full psychosis. That's what it says top left side.
Full psychosis. Fun fact, while answer B, lateral ascension, is wrong, this is the term for...
That's for the ending, isn't it? Where you become the War Rider. It's that test tube ending when you're in a fish bowl. The fish tank ending where you leave your body or something. War Rider.
The process a patient of the morphogenic engine undergoes when they become eligible as a host for the Wall Rider in the game Outlast 1. Question...
I think I'm on the money with my answer. I was close. So I had the gist of it, so I guess I'm on 4 points, but I'm probably going to track that in editing rather than manually. Which of the following is an MK challenge?
2. Which of the following...
Shut down the factory. So, okay. I'm happy with the question so far.
Following is an MK challenge.
Yeah, shut down the factory. I didn't need to pause for this one.
The answer is B, shut down the factory. This was intentionally a bit of a tricky question because I know a lot of people confuse this trial name for the name of its corresponding full-length trial, Pervert the Futterman. I don't know why, I do it too. Anyways, fun fact.
I think I played the game too much because I never have mixed those two up.
Answer D, Murkoff Memorandums is not the name of an MK challenge, but this phrase is instead seen as a heading in...
I've never seen those two words together. Murkoff Memorandums. Not the name of an MK challenge. Context clues. Is there any context clues? But this phrase is... Maybe I've seen on the full Murkoff logo? On the documents? I have no clue. Something document related, right?
Certain evidence documents, like this one and that one. It shows up.
Let me cook.
You'll see it. Question 3. There are certain items you can throw to hit targets in the carnival games at the fun park. Which items will work?
All of the above. They're all projectiles. Clonals playing Helldivers too.
The answer is D, all of the above. Every throwable in the game works if you use them on these targets. Fun fact, when you're trying to hit the targets in these carnival games, you cannot vault over the ledge
until you claim the ticket. Oh my god, yo.
In front of you.
This is a good quiz so far. Until you claim the ticket.
Win the game and grab the ticket afterwards, then you can vault over the ledge.
Bro, I play this game too much.
Enemies too, you have to be careful. Question 4. What can you not do in your sleep room cell?
I think that's easy. go to sleep. You only wake up in sleep rooms. I mean, unless you leave. Is that sleeping?
A, go to sleep, ironically enough. I mean, you'll wake up in the bed, but like you can't click on your own bed and go to sleep.
Okay, good.
Right? So fun fact, during the Outlast Trials closed beta, when you logged into the game and woke up in your cell, the specific location you woke up in would be...
I never played closed beta. I've never seen footage of closed beta. So clearly it seems like you're not going to wake up next to your bed. So it either makes me think that you spawn in where the nurses, you know, with the shuttle, or you just randomly spawn outside of your sleep room's door or something, or at the window. But I need to pick one. I'm gonna say people spawn in at the shuttle where the nurses, where Doris, no, the nurses, shuttle. As if you was to complete a trial, you'd spawn
on the floor. Instead of waking up in your bed as we do nowadays, your reagent would wake up on the floor. Guys, what do we have a bed right next to us for? Question 5. When is the Outlast Trials set?
1959 because, I roughly know.
The answer is A,
not really.
1959. I mean, the story starts in 1959, but at the current point in the lore, we're moving well into the year 1960, which is pretty cool to me. Fun fact, answer D, 2013, would be correct if we were instead talking about...
2013. I think that's where the first Outlast came out, so surely... If they're gonna start the Outlast Trials lore universe, they would start with the first game. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Outlast 1. Outlast 1 and Whistleblower kind of
the
came
original games, Outlast 1 and Outlast 2. Both those games are canonically set in 2013. We are moving on to level 2, Standard.
Oh,
question
they were
6.
introductory.
What is the in-universe name for the project we are participants in?
What is the in-universe name for the project? MK Signala? It's not program, guys. I'm gonna go with B. I've heard D too, but B.
The answer is D, Lathe 2. There are many fun facts for this one, so I'll arbitrarily list off many and
I feel
choose
like I've
just
heard the
one
word
for the bonus point. The project is called Lathe 2 since yes, there was a Lathe 1 and it ended in a catastrophic security failure with many deaths, not unlike the outcome of Amelia's escape, and the acronym itself, Lathe, currently stands for Latent Agency Therapy, whereas during Lathe 1, it stood for Limbic
Don't know what
Aggression
all of
Therapy.
this means.
I chose
or any
Program
of it
Geister
even.
as the false answer for choice A, because this was the name for the recurring Halloween event that showed up in both 2023 and 2024, and will likely come again this year as well. MK Signala was the name of the false answer for B, which is just a combination of the terms MK Challenge and Signala Facility, which is the name of the
I was thinking MK Ultra, but like Signal is like the main facility. That's why I went with B rather than MK Challenge.
location in which the trials occur. Now, the fun fact that will count towards your bonus point is this. The false answer of C, Eskimo Reuben, is a phrase mentioned in the Murkoff account comics. What is its significance?
No idea!
In the comics, Pauline Glick says Eskimo Reuben as a kind of code phrase to establish herself as being higher on the Murkoff hierarchy as compared to the nameless suits she's talking to. Those guys are Alpha Grey or whatever. Question 7. What are imposters?
Ooh. Bro, what? I've never thought about imposters being anything but just clones of me. I don't think it's A. Because I feel like that's just kinda not it. B, reagents who have gone insane. To be fair, they do have those crazy ass laughters. X-pop. If imposters are an X-pop, then that means I'm an X-pop too, but I'm a reagent, so... Murkoff employees. I don't think they would do the battery and the night vision goggle procedures on them, so I'm gonna go with B. That's my best guess.
The answer is C, X-Pop.
Okay, that kind of makes sense, I guess, because all the enemies are X-Pops, and then, yeah, okay, whatever.
Imposters are just XPOP, surprisingly enough, but they are wearing latex masks which are meant to mimic reagents' faces apparently. It is a weird piece of the lore to me. Fun fact, the false answer of D, Murkoff employees, applies in the case of employees who succumb to the psychosis of the Signal facility and end up as a specific class of XPOP. This class is...
You can have the point. You can have the point. You can keep it.
the Pusher. Evidence documents reveal that most, or perhaps all of the pushers we see are former Murkoff employees.
Yeah, I don't know law, so yeah, fair enough, you know. Fair enough that I didn't get it.
Who willingly joined the therapy as XPOP because the madness got to them in some form or another. Question 8. Which will not change regardless of how many players you play with?
Okay, I'm actually kind of good at this because the only reason I might know the answer to this is because of playing with you guys on my live streams. So, the drug package you stuff into the mules, in solo it's 6, in co-op it's 12. The number of posters, it's normally 3 in solo, 5 in co-op. The number of generators you must start and kill the snitch, it's 1 if you're solo, 2 if you're in co-op. Number of witnesses you must kill, yeah, D. It's always the same amount in... It's the bulbs that changes with co-op, I think.
The answer is D. Whether you play solo or 4-player co-op, you must still kill 1 witness downstairs and 1 witness upstairs in this trial. Meanwhile, in Poison the Medicine, when you play solo, you only need to stuff 6 packets into the mules, while when playing in a party of 4, you must stuff them with 12 packets. Actually, I think co-op with any number of players makes you stuff the mules with 12 packets, so that would be the same regardless of whether you're in a party of 2, 3, or 4. Now, fun fact. The amount of generators you currently have to start and kill the snitch is not the same as what it used to.
This is meant to be standard knowledge. Standard? The amount of generators you currently have to start and kill the snitch is not the same as what it used to be. Yo, I'm gonna go with something crazy. I might go with like 3 or 4 then. I'm gonna go with 4.
To be back on early access and closed beta.
4 for 4
Describe
players.
This change.
4 generators?
So currently, in Kill the Snitch, we have to start 1 generator on solo and 2 generators on co-op. In early patches of early access and closed beta, the number of generators you had to start was higher and kind of matched the numbers of players in the party, somewhat. Solo players as well as parties of 2 had to start 2 generators, parties of 3 had to start 3 generators, parties of 4 had to start 4. It was a crazy high number.
Surely my 4 gens then kinda counts, right?
They made a similar change to vindicate the guilty regarding the amount of evidence rooms you had to complete, but disregard that. If you remember this change about the police station generators...
I mean, I should have listed like what I was gonna get for like solo, duo, and quads. But yeah, I'm gonna take it.
You get the bonus point, even if you didn't get all the number values exactly right. Question 9. Is the Berserker blind?
He is. But there's probably going to be a law reason, and that he's not blind. His eyes are just shut or something ridiculous. His eyes have been removed, which would make him blind. So yes, yes, as a result of engineered syphilis. I think I've heard of that. I do be reading sometimes. I think I've heard of that. No, his eyes are functional. The metal blindfold is the only thing preventing him from being able to see. Well, that's BS, because there's the grunt that's got bandages all over her goddamn eyes, so, and she sees perfectly fine, even in the dark. His visual cortex only be temporarily I'm gonna go with B. I feel like I've heard that before, even if it is for Wyhorn.
The answer is B. The Berserker is blind as a result of this strange illness. Fun fact, answer A is partially somewhat correct-ish, because according to his evidence document, what the Berserkers do to themselves after they become blind is...
King Kong their eyeballs out or something? I don't know. No fun fact for me.
They pick at their ruined eyeballs so incessantly that they become at risk of self-lobotomizing. Yes, interestingly enough, and if you did not know, the anatomy of the eye sockets are such that they basically connect directly to the brain. I apologize for the very gruesome fun fact, but guess what game we were playing after all? Another fun fact, which does not count towards the bonus point, is that I included this phrase, chemical encouragement, because it keeps coming up in the lore and the character dialogue and elsewhere. I don't know what that means, bruh. I was encouraged to take chemistry.
What it sounds like. RPR tried to make some of the answers tie in with the law in some shape or form to throw people off. But I don't know the law, so it's kind of working in my favor right now. Kinda.
11 in high school, and I did not enjoy it. Question 10, who composes the score? Bro, I have to re-record this line on my horrible mic, but question 10, who composes the score for the Outlast trials?
B. Because I have used the Outlast trial soundtracks in my videos before.
B. Tom Salta. That boy is a talent seen only once every 1,000 years. Consider him an outlier because Samuel LaFlamme, who composed the scores for Outlast 1, Whistleblower, and Outlast 2, is also a talent seen only once every 1,000 years. Guys, that basically means we lived a statistical 2,000 years in the span of 7. The fun fact for this question is not a fun fact, but just a matter of whether or not you laughed at the false answers for C and D. If you did laugh, you get a bonus.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even read them. What? Various Murkoff employees compose your score at the end of the trial. Dr. Hendrik Joyle Eastman personally composes your score at the end of the trial.
Point.
Yeah, you can keep the point. You can keep the point.
You deserve it for making this far into this quiz. For the next 5 questions.
Wait, do I get a point for making it this far? Let me hear that back.
Everyone gets the bonus point for this one, for fun. You deserve it for making this far into this quiz. For the next 5 questions, we're moving on to level 3. Intensive.
Okay.
Question 11. In which trial will the prescription heavy training not serve any benefit to the player?
C. I call it Nautitoid instead of sect.
The answer is C. Incinerate the Texoids. This was a fun question to design because it tests your knowledge on 2 levels. First, you must know that the prescription heavy training allows you to move faster when carrying heavy objects.
Kinda in the name.
Second, you have to consider which of these trials has heavy objects in them. Incinerate the Texoids has none. You just push a cart. Teach the police officer was a treacherous false answer, because most of that trial involves matching keys to their corresponding rooms, no heavy objects. But the fun fact is, there is that one heavy object in the trial, and that is...
the film reel. Yo, this should be on introductory questions.
The film reel with which you perform the titular action of teaching the police officer. Question 12, why is Dr. Hendrik Joyle Easterman balding?
Yo, this question's got me stumped. Yeah, B. C sounds kind of realistic. B.
Thallium in the pocket of his work coat. The answer is B. The Murkoff higher-ups had this nice little Christmas party and got a bit rowdy. Some strange scientist who was visiting at the time put thallium in the pocket of Easterman's work coat as a very unusual and unethical prank. That stuff is crazy.
What even is thallium?
Anyways, fun fact, there is a little piece of truth within one of these false answers. This piece of truth is...
C. You know, Easterman's probably got
that Easterman's mother did indeed rip out fistfuls of his and his brother's hair. It's just not the reason he's balding nowadays, which is why answer C is wrong. But it's a cool piece of the lore and of Easterman's story. We can no longer wonder why he's such a bizarre fellow. Question 13. Which of the following is true? This is gonna take a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I need to read. Man, 5 seconds to read all of these is kinda crazy. So if you don't do it without pauses, you're actually insane. Yes, he does use teeth. The claw weapons of the armored grunts are more often the shape of human arm following the... Never heard of that procedure. Machete weapons of the civilian grunts are... Bro, okay, this is definitely some heavy lore. World War II did happen. So the machete weapons could be right. Gooseberg can continue to survive in spite of her brain being exposed to open air due to... I read a message somewhere about that she has like a burnt scalp or something. So I guess... that sounds believable. Approximation of the bayonet. Okay, the word approximation seems very specific because bayonets are usually only on the end of the guns rather than as a weapon that you hold. I'm kind of leaning for C right now. I'm gonna go with C.
Long time to read.
Go with C, man.
The answer is A. Baby may be teething. They didn't want to let the guy use real bullets because then every Franco trial would be accompanied by the death.
I am stupid. Which one is true? Not false. I knew it was true. Oh my god. That's why you read questions, guys. You can clearly tell how I didn't read questions back in my day.
The prime asset variator just by default, then I wouldn't want to play the game anymore. For the false answers, I just made a bunch of stuff up that hopefully sounds plausible enough that you fell for it. I really hope you did. Fun fact, answer D is like doubly or even triply wrong. It's wrong for many reasons. Just name one of the reasons and you'll get the bonus point.
I don't know.
Okay, so first, Gooseberry's brain is not exposed. What we're seeing on the top of her head is just
I didn't exactly mention it for her fun fact, but I did mention that she's got like a burnt scalp or something instead.
her bald, scarred scalp. Her plushie is inaccurate for this reason, and I don't know why, but she looks good.
Do I get the fun fact point? I didn't answer it for when the fun fact came up, but I did bring it up, but I don't know how to do this.
This answer is also wrong because nothing in the lore is said about acclimation to lifelong encephalopathy infection.
Yeah, that seems kind of
big words, by the way. I don't think it even means anything. Question 14. Which of the following is a real asset? Not prime asset, by the way. That's different.
A porcelain vase filled with human entrails and liquidate their union. Entrails. Is that like, you know, poo? Dismembered torso hanging from the mansion chandelier. I've seen them. A jar of preserved eyeballs. Yeah, I've seen them. A corpse bisected at the waistline on either side of the orphanage. Bisected? I think he means dissected. But there is definitely corpses that are dissected across the trial. So I'm going to go with the first one, A, because I've not really paid attention to any vases. I don't think it's eyes in police station, maybe, though.
The answer is D, because there is a corpse cut in half, and you can find each half on either.
Bro, can I read the questions? Which one of the following is a real asset? End my suffering.
Side of the orphanage gate. How interesting. Yeah, guys, I thought I was absolutely insane. The thing is, I recorded my lines for this video.
If you got this question wrong, you can get 3 points. Oh my god, thank you.
Before I confirmed
everything
about the questions because I was so assured of my knowledge. Then I went to go look for footage of the gate corpse in the orphanage, and I thought I was absolutely insane. Because there's no gate corpse anymore. But I'm absolutely sure there was. This is Feed the Children. I looked in all the orphanage maps to confirm it. There was no gate corpse, but there was one here. I have a screenshot from my old video in early access of the gate corpse being there. I don't know why they removed it, but you know.
Yeah, the blood pattern and the body kind of don't make sense, which is probably why they removed the body. Wow.
I'm gonna talk about this later. The fun fact here regards the police station laboratory mentioned in answer C. In Kill the Snitch, if there was to be a key corpse inside this laboratory, which gate would the corpse give you the key for?
Laboratory. Okay. Where on earth is the red room section the laboratory? Because I think I've seen I've seen like Bunsen burners, test tubes, boiling tubes, I think in that area, which would be door C. Section A is like the canteen, cafeteria. In the back there's the toilets and like offices. These got a bathroom, interrogation rooms, a library. I'm gonna go with C. I thought this was like the goddamn security room, the jars of eyeballs that I've seen, but security maybe? No,
it
C.
would give you the key for the third gate.
Yeah,
the specifics of the rule are a bit
No, that's
difficult
what
to learn
number C.
concretely, but just understand that the key given to you by each corpse generally corresponds to the gate of
Okay, I was right. Laboratory was that like red room section.
nearest proximity. In this case, this holds true because the laboratory is closest to gate 3 and will always give you the key for that gate. Question 15. Which two characters share the following voice line? You don't have to do this!
I've heard the snitch say that. Who is the deviant? I'm gonna go with B. Coil, come save me. I feel like it's gonna be Coil Trolls that say you don't have to do this. The Pouncer. Hell no.
The answer is B. The snitch and the judge. You don't have to do this!
You don't have to do this.
You don't have to do this!
Guys, please be reasonable.
Yeah,
we gotta complete the season 3
Vindicates
catalog.
one
Of
was
course we have
ridiculous.
to do this. Fun fact, answer D is probably the most wrong of all these possibilities. Reasons B.
Surely the Pouncer would be like very, you know, like one of the worst wrong ones.
that.
Oh. Answer D is wrong for multiple reasons are that. First, I don't know who the deviant is, and then the prosecutor, I don't really care about him, so... You can keep the point. Let me actually try guess. They're not coil trials.
The deviant, he's like really into being tortured to death until the very end of the trial, so it is very likely he wouldn't tell you, you don't have to do this. The prosecutor, meanwhile, cannot speak because he's gagged, so he can't say this because he can't speak, so he can't say this because he can't speak. This is a weird, open-ended question, sorry. Like, you could have given a lot of different valid answers, I think, so you can just use your own judgment. If you gave a reasonable enough answer that was different from mine, give yourself the bonus point anyways.
I mean, if we're being smart, if I'm being cheeky, technically I'm right. Because the judge on, just niche our own coil, only trials. But nah, I'm not gonna let that slide.
For the next 5 questions, we are moving on to level 4, psychosurgery.
I'm scared.
The 5 questions remaining from this point onwards will require full sentence answers. It's a real exam. Again, you don't have to match my answer word for word, that would be unreasonable. You only need to get the gist of it right to get the points. Okay. Each of these questions is now worth 4 rather than 3 points, but there is no accompanying fun fact to answer. Good luck. The degree of trauma will be impressive. Question 16. Which trials have overlapping or shared acronyms? There are 2 distinct cases of this sharing. You must list both.
Ooh. Bro, you gonna really make me, think of every single name for every single trial? That's the orphanage, cancelled autopsy, no. It can't be any of the long-named ones, like Roundabout Apples, Tilda Scales. Okay. Punish the miscreants, poison the medicine. Oh my god, I got one. Now, second one. Bro, I'm really struggling with this one. I've been thinking for 5 minutes straight. I might have to give up on the second one. You must list both. Oh my god. Drill the footermans and deface the footermans. Oh my god. That was a crazy pull. Deface the footermans, drill the footerman. The other one was poison the medicine, punish the miscreants. Yo, okay. Now, this was definitely a psychosurgery type of level of question. You know what I messed up. Oh, that was a crazy question. Can't believe I actually got
to it. The answer? PTM and DTF. PTM can refer to either poison the medicine or punish the miscreants.
Yep.
DTF can refer to either drill the futterman or deface the futtermans. However, know that at the time of releasing this quiz, the most recent update for the game was on April 22nd, Season 3's release, and the most recently released trials include Liquidate the Union, Cook the Informant, and Spread the Disease. If you're watching this video far in the future, like long past the upload date, there are likely to be many more trials which share acronyms. That's okay. Whichever answers you provided, so long as they share acronyms, you can get the points. I just won't know those trials exist yet. Question 17. Release the Prisoners may be the most unrealistic trial of all, just because it violates the basic logic of physical space. If you find this statement bewildering, think hard on it, and then try to explain why this trial is an example of impossible space.
Because there's 4 spawn points. I'm not sure if I'm getting this question. Release the Prisoners is the only trial that has every reagent spread apart. That means there has to be 5 shuttles in total. Whatever gibberish I spat out is my answer.
The thing is, Red Barrel owes us an explanation. Why is it that in Release the Prisoners, we 4 players will be in the same tram with...
I should have took your advice. I should have fought harder. I knew it was a single little shuttle passage that you get in each section. Oh. Yeah. And then the fact that all 4 of us will leave the exact same shuttle and end up 4 different corners of the map. Yeah, I don't get the point.
We step into these capsules only to end up on completely opposite sides of the police station from one another. We're probably something like 1 whole kilometer separated from each of our teammates, yet these capsules that spin us into the trial are only supposed to do just that. spin. They are not meant to move us to transport us to a new location because as far as we know, this trial shuttle has always been physically placed right next to the trial entrance. I hope these diagrams are helpful in explaining the impossibility of this all. It is so strange to me.
brand.
Question 18. The 3-part question will be unleashed upon you. First, is there a trial in the game with a blackboard that has the words Spider I Lamb written upon it, or am I yet again just making this up? Second,
Who reads the blackboards? I only just... Because of someone mentioning apparently like on what is it? T-shirt police officer? Someone mentioned that you can know what room to go to if you look at a blackboard. That's the only blackboard I've ever looked at. I'm gonna just go
if you said yes, this blackboard and text both do exist, in which trial can they be seen? Third, under which circumstances can you read the text?
I was gonna say cleansed orphanage, but now that you said circumstances makes me think of the blue light from like, you know, P. the Footerman. I'm just go cleanse the orphanage. You have to have night vision goggles on. That's my guess.
So yes, this trial and this blackboard text do exist. It appears in Vindicate the Guilty, and
That does not look like a blackboard. That looks like a whiteboard. Oh, but let me stop nitpicking.
you can only read it when you have night vision
Fair
enabled.
enough.
You get 1 point
I did
for
not know
each
that.
individual question you answered correctly here, but if you got all 3 parts correct, you get the full 4 points.
Yeah,
This
I
is
didn't
such
get
a
it.
cool detail to me. I cannot take credit for discovering it. Many other
Yeah,
people
that's
did.
kinda cool.
I am not that wise, so I'm just here to foster the proliferation of interesting knowledge. Question 19. Which is the only trial environment in the game which truly takes place outdoors rather than in a warehouse?
I think it's grounded by apples because for some reason I remember seeing a Discord message talking about this. I wonder if they only talked about it because of this quiz, which means that in a way I had insider information. I think it's grounded by apples because if you look up, it's like all foggy anyway and
It is
stuff.
the fun park. If you look up, you will see genuine clouds and no warehouse.
Why is he
ceiling.
outside
You could have said
of the
any trial
warehouse?
related to the fun park for this answer, such as grind the bad apples or punish the miscreants or whatever, because the environments themselves don't really have an official term you are meant to refer to them as. I think fun park does this job best.
What's the law
But
behind
yeah,
it
every
being
other trial in
outside
the
though?
game may feel like it is or should be outdoors, such as the streets in suburbs or downtown, or the outside of the main buildings, such as the outside of courthouse or toy factory. But in all these instances, if you do look up, you'll see nothing but warehouse ceiling. It's especially obvious nowadays since the most recent update drastically increased the natural lighting of the game. Question 20. Oh, you love the Outlast trials? Name every trial in the game. Also,
Kill the snitch, cleanse the orphanage, grounded by apples, P. the Footerman, pleasure the prosecutor, poison the medicine, liquidate the union, vindicate the guilty. Now, release the prisoners, teach the police. Oh, okay, there's so many. Teach the police officer, release the prisoners. Man, you've put me on the spot here. No, I don't want the 3 points.
name every class of enemy. Also every item, amp, prescription, rig upgrade, variator, Murkoff employee, and Red Bros employee.
Yo, this is gonna be a troll question. Every item, amp. Get out.
Kidding. Just name every class of enemy in the game, or every trial in the game if you like. Whichever you prefer. The former is easier than the latter, especially
Every class of enemy. Prime asset. Export. Can I just name every... No, I can't, no.
because if you're taking this quiz long after the upload date of this video, there's going to be way more trials added than enemy classes, I am pretty sure.
No, you win. You can take my 4 points.
I'm not gonna read all that out, you can like read it silently to yourself.
Oh,
Okay, thanks so much
you
for
should
taking the
read it
quiz.
out
I spent a
too.
lot of time in very deep and serious
You wanted us to like think of every single one of these? You can read it.
contemplation, and I thought, I have to save all this for the very end of the video because people are going to get bored if I give a whole 5-minute speech before the quiz even begins. So, short story long, this quiz is adapted from my original Outlast Trials quiz, which I made on December 1st, 2023, almost 1.5 years ago. That was when
Damn.
there were only 4 main trials in the game. Game was still in early access. It was a good time, but there was a lot less
That's a long
material to
quiz.
base my quiz off of. Yet, I managed to still make up a cool 100 questions. Most I drew from there to put into this quiz here. Some of them, I find, have now become outdated or incorrect because of changes made in recent balance updates. That is
Okay.
one of the biggest things I wanted to avoid in making this quiz. I wanted my quiz and questions to be timeless. That's why you don't see any questions like, what's the cooldown of the stun rig? 180 seconds.
Yeah, that's fair enough. There's a lot of changes that get made and whatnot, so I get that.
Base cooldown, because a value like that is very likely to change with the game's regular balance updates. Question design is harder than you might think, but it's also a great challenge. I really enjoyed making the false answers sound plausible enough that you would fall for them. I like that a lot. I like making these questions, these quizzes. I would like to do more. That's why this quiz only has 20 tentative questions, just to test the format and how you like it. The way I propose the question and answers here vocally, rather than just showing the text alone, it's very time consuming and tedious, I think. That's why I think a purely text-based quiz outside of video format entirely might just work best.
Okay, you know, I completely get it because, like, trying to make informative videos where you, like, you know, find right footage to tie to the voiceover and whatnot, that's very tedious. So, yeah, I can understand the struggles of making a quiz like this. This was pretty good. Now, the last question was a bit too tiring. Too much speaking, too much brain power, okay? But yeah, this was a good quiz. Now, you did all the talking for me, which I'm very thankful for, because if I had to read off 100 odd questions, I'd lose it. But yeah, all right. I hope everyone enjoyed my answers to the quiz. In editing, you'll see how many points I got out of however many you can actually get. And yeah, bye-bye, everyone.